Luke Hobbs.
Luke, what's going on, everyone? It's another Sunday. It's me. It's Tim. You know what? Because Rob always enjoys it. We always bring in the music because it's always going old school. This is Tim. This is Rob. This is New York Giants Straight Talk Sunday Show. We're going to have a special guest today all the way from the Ireland. Rob has something to disagree with me about. And you know if Rob is disagreeing with me, if Rob is disagreeing with me, I'm 100% fucking right. You know it. You
Absolutely not.
You know it. Rob, what's going on, man? How you doing this fine Sunday?
I'm doing good, man. A little tired, man. A little tired. Working 7 days a week, and then getting up at 7 o'clock, go to donate, come back, do this with you, then got to go to work.
Excuse me. Hold on 1 second. Gonna play this little tiny violin for you. Here we go.
Little tired. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
He's ready. We're gonna have a special guest. We're gonna bring him in a little bit. So he's an up and coming YouTuber from Ireland. But I got one thing quick to say. And we already got Mike Lee in the room saying smash like. We got Giant Smug Men already sitting in there as well. Now, Rob, I just want to talk about this real quick. I posted on my the whatever it's called, the thumbnail today. And the tagline on my thumbnail was, "We value your opinion." Now, I'm not trying to diss the Walla Walla Waller. He was a great tight end 3 years ago. We're gonna have to see what he is now. But he came out in the press a couple days ago, and he said he likes being with the Giants because they value our opinions. You get paid.
You're not going to go here, are you?
$13 million a year. Shut up and catch the damn ball. I don't care what you do with the Ravens. You are now with the New York Football Giants. You know what? If a player went up to Bill Parcells or Tom Coughlin and said, "Do you value my opinion?" they would look at them and say, "You are out of your mind."
God, you mean.
You know what the coaching staff does? You play the position you have, and you play it well. I value your opinion after you make some touchdown catches. You have been healthy in 2 seasons. You pushed your way out of Las Vegas because of the wife and the wedding. And then you come here and say, we value the opinion. They value our opinion. My opinion is this: win games, catch the ball. Bro, if someone went to Bill Parcells, a player who has never played for the Giants.
Oh, that's a bad fucking example because Bill Parcells is an asshole.
How many Super Bowl rings does Bill Parcells have?
What? 2?
How many Super Bowl rings does Tom Coughlin have?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, but Tom Coughlin was nice.
Tom Coughlin was not nice. Tom Coughlin
in the beginning he wasn't.
Mellowed.
After that he was.
Mellowed. He still had the 5-minute late rule. He still had those rules. He still
nobody was getting fined though.
Well, no one's getting fined, but you got the Tom Coughlin. Look, all I'm saying is this, Rob. If you are going to come to this team, leave your baggage in Las Vegas. I don't like when players come out and diss their former organization when they're no longer there. You were told by Derek Carr. Derek Carr came out specifically and said, you quit on the team. All I'm saying is this. You want your opinion valued? Make some touchdowns. You want your opinion counted with the coaching staff? Catch some balls. Stay healthy. Just saying it like it is, Rob.
Listen.
We're in a candy-ass society where everyone needs to have their opinion valued.
Can I say my opinion?
No. Because I'm Tom Coughlin. I'm Bill Parcells.
Listen.
I'm Allie Sherman.
You got to understand something here. One, you got to look at this from in your perspective, right? If you are working a job and your job is doing a lot of things that you may not agree with, okay? It's well within your right at that point because I've done it. You kind of check yourself out. I don't agree with the direction that you're going. I don't agree with some of the moves that you've been making. I don't. Okay,
but if you do that, what do you do at the end? Do you stay at your job or do you leave?
No, at the end of the day, you got to. Listen. Hold on.
Then at the end of the day, after you leave, do you go to your new employer and start bitching about your old job?
No. Here's the thing. I listen.
You already said no twice.
No, first of all, I didn't say no. Like, how many times you going to tell me that you've never left a job and then went to your other job and had friends or made like you had a good vibe with the new boss that you had and you weren't talking shit about how shitty it was at the previous job? I've done it all the time. People do it all the time. Well, you're the anomaly, just like Daniel Jones.
You want to know why I don't?
Why?
Because you don't burn bridges. You don't sit there.
But you're not talking to those people, though.
But listen, the NFL is secular. It is a small league. You burn bridges with one team because you talk trash. If let's just say for the sake that he fails here, how easy?
You think he wants to go back there?
No. But listen to what I'm going to say. How easy is he going to have it if he fails here? And then all of a sudden, other teams are going to be like, well, listen, he failed in New York and he was talking trash about about Vegas as well. Players get blackballed in this league. We know it.
Listen, at the end of the day, like if I wasn't planning on going back, I understand what you're saying. And if you wanted, if you left and like you didn't have like any like you liked the job and it's someplace where you might want to go back to, fine. But like if I knew for 100% like I wouldn't fucking go back there, I don't fucking give a shit. I'll talk shit about him. I'll talk shit about him all day long.
I give you a good example. I worked in multimedia. I worked in social media. I worked for an organization which is known as the forefounders of social media. All the annoying things that you see on the internet and the data mining and everything with that. I worked with the guy that basically invented all that shit. But you know what? Social media, even back then, was a very small market. So you had people that bashed smaller companies and smaller things and then tried to go to a larger company. And then they were like, we heard this because everyone talks. And it's a small bag, especially back then, it was a small industry. So all I'm saying is this: you leave your baggage at the door from your other organization. You move on. You are a giant now. It doesn't matter what happened in Las Vegas. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if they value your opinion here, because you know what? Your job is $13 million worth to catch touchdowns.
Yeah, but he was asked what he likes about being here, and he answered the question. I think we're looking too much into it.
I'm not looking at. Watch this. Ask me what I like about this job here.
I'm not going to ask you that because you currently are working at this job.
No, just ask me. Hey, Tim, what do you like about your job?
Tim, what do you like about your job?
You know what? I really like the organization. I find it's really, just a good vibe here. It's a good energy. The teammates are great. The coaching staff is great. I'm just happy to be a Giant.
Yeah, but look, you want to get maybe that. Okay, but so here's the thing. Then you want him to answer that question in what maybe your personality is. Maybe his personality is he's a transparent person. He's an open person. Look, I don't find anything wrong with what he said. And to be honest with you, he was probably talking about the Raiders. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying
about the Raiders. That's why
of course. But
Rob, we value your opinion here.
I understand that. But look,
okay, let's go on to Danny Boy. Danny Boy says, a-holes bring in winners. Rob, you got yourself into this.
I know.
You got yourself into this one, man.
No backing down now. Look, all I'm saying is at 31 years old,
31 in September, I believe.
31 in September. You're a veteran. It's not like Kadarius Toney. Like you're in your early 20s in the first couple of years of your career. He's a veteran. He's been in the league. He's produced at a high level. Yeah. Go ahead and give your opinion. He has a right to his opinion. But let me ask you a question. If Jason Kelce came here and was asked and responded in the exact same fucking way, you wouldn't be saying that about Jason Kelce?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, then that's fine. But Jason Kelce has a right to his opinion. He has a right to say that.
You have your right to your opinion, but you are in a brand new. If Kadarius Toney did it, I would have, to all your points that you just said, if Kadarius Toney would have did it, I would have made sense. I would have believed that. I would have been like, yeah, that's Kadarius Toney, because of the fact that he hasn't been in the league more than a hiccup. He doesn't know anything. But
how many Darren Waller's interviews were you watching prior to him being with the Giants?
I watched a lot of the old ones.
And maybe he was a little bit more. Look, when you go to organizations like the Patriots is a prime example. Look at Tom Brady. Look at how Tom Brady talked, especially to the media when he was in New England. Look at how he talks to the media now when he's in Tampa Bay or when he was in Tampa Bay. He's a lot more relaxed. He's a lot more like he talks a little bit more freely. He said what was more on his mind.
Brady has a bunch of these.
Doesn't matter, but that doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
But he had the same amount of rings. And listen, you're not understanding it. He had the same. Did he not have rings when he was playing in New England?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but what I'm saying, but he
had the rings. He took the rings to Tampa. He had the hardware already.
But that doesn't matter. He earned the hardware in New England, and he wasn't talking like that.
He has the right to talk. He actually did talk about New England in a negative way a couple times.
Not when he was there.
No, not when he was with New England.
That's what I'm trying to say.
When he went to Tampa, he did.
What I'm trying to say is when he was with New England, and you look at his press conference interviews, they were blah, short answered, basic. Everything, like when he would answer questions about his injury, like with his hand, right? Remember when he had to wear that glove a few years ago? He was like, they're all different. I was out there like that. But then when he was injured in Tampa, he opened up a little bit more and he gave a little bit more of an answer. That's what I'm saying. Like when you go to certain organizations, Bill probably didn't want him to be very open. Listen, when you're up there at the podium, keep it short, sweet, and simple. I don't want you really talking or saying a lot. Don't give the press or don't give them any reason. But he goes to Tampa and Bruce Arians was probably like, yeah, man, whatever you want to do, say what's on your mind. Like, that's what he did.
You keep missing the point. He went to Tampa with how many? He went to Tampa with how many rings?
What, 6, 7?
Yeah, 7.
But he had those in New England.
But this is what I'm saying. He earned the hardware. You earn the hardware. You play at the high level for the many years as Tom Brady does. You go to another organization. You have the right.
So then why would I agree? Fine. If you want to go off of that logic, if he had earned the right, then why wasn't he talking like that in New England?
He did towards the end of his career. He did talk like that.
No, we did not. No, we did not.
We're going to agree to disagree on that one. I got a lot of chat to go through here. We got Braden saying, how's it going? Tim, it's going. We got the Two Toes super chat saying, no, super chat. Massive salute to Tim. Robbie, the slanted hat. Tim always wears. Tim, you wear candy ass society. Yeah, we are candy ass society. I agree with that 100%. We got the big LJ in the room. We got everyone saying hello to Tutu. We got everyone. So Danny saying, what's up, brother? Everything's good. Never burn bridges. That's my point of this whole organization. We got the big LJ with the big salute. We're always saluting out to Tuto. We got Mike Lee coming and saying, never burn bridges. You never know when a former boss is going to be your boss again. Mike Lee also says blackballing is a thing as well in everyday life and jobs. We got the big super sticker from the Don. The Don drops in the big super sticker for the kids. Everything cool, of course, goes
stickers.
Everything, all super chats, of course, all go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. We got LJ coming back saying it's personal with Waller. Remember the whole wedding thing. And we're not going to get into the wedding thing because that's a piece of crap.
LJ, don't get into that conversation.
We're not going to go over that one. We got Timothy saying, what's up, Tim? We got it all going on. I want to bring in a special guest here for a little bit. He's all the way from Ireland. He's got a channel that he is trying to grow to speak and talk about giant football. And I'm gonna post the I don't know where the hell it went. Hold on here.
You're losing stuff again, Tim?
Jesus. I am losing stuff. I lost my mind a long time ago. Let's see here. Where did the
It's probably why I'm on the show.
That's true. Private chat. There it is. I'm gonna put it up here. It is the No Filter League. Evidently, there's a lot of vulgarity in his show. Oh, no, I just do that. That was wrong. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I don't know. Put that. I'm going to block that user. I'm going to block myself. I can't ban myself. Can I put myself in timeout?
I'm having issues? What kind of issues am I having?
I got issues here right now. We're going to bring him in right here. It's Luke from the No Filter League, all the way from Ireland. He doesn't, you know what? I always thought it was funny because I just assumed, Rob, everyone towards the, in the UK area, everyone knows each other. He doesn't know Dom.
He's unbelievable. It's unacceptable. He doesn't know Dom?
He doesn't know Dom. I
Get me out of here.
That was. I thought he would know Dom. Luke, you come all the way in to sit here and talk to me and Robert.
Well, buddies.
You are starting a new channel. You look dapper in your giant paraphernalia and your giant sign behind you. We've talked about this before. We've talked about it briefly. Just tell us a little bit about what your channel is all about.
Look, I've really only just started this channel. I've like 9.
All right, well, that was fun. We're going to have another guest come on in. All right, man.
Hey, listen, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Look, I'm a nobody. Let's just face it. It is what it is.
You know, we're all. You know what's funny? We're all nobodies here. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the last week when I posted the video of me asking Daniel Jones a question. All these people are like, he knew who you were. Like, he didn't know who the hell I was. He didn't know who the hell I was from Adam. So what? You're never a nobody. You're always a somebody. So come on, tell us about how you got started watching the Giants and what you want your channel to do.
Yeah, so look, I grew up with football from the age of about 7, and it was in 2007. Actually, it was the start of the season. I said I need to pick a team. My brother watched the year before. He kind of introduced it to me, as well as my father. He supported the Colts with Peyton Manning, so I was kind of thinking, well, Eli Manning is, you know, his younger brother. I'm my brother's younger brother, so I was like, I'll pick the Giants. Then that year they won the Super Bowl, and I was hooked.
I love it because Danny comes out and well, first we got Joe Rev coming out and say everyone in Europe knows each other. Danny says this better be a good story.
No, not really.
You know what? It wasn't that great of a story. Rob tells better stories. Crowd knew you as evidenced by the warm reception they gave you. Yes, I did get the asshole chant.
You did.
So you know,
kind of like you were Vince McMahon in the wrestling ring.
It really was. I really was. Luke,
you should have started walking back to your seat like Vince McMahon.
I was going to do the Hulk Hogan, rip my shirt off in the middle. Oh, I'm going to play. I'm going to go with brother. Okay, Luke, we have to get serious here about the Giants. Okay. You had OTAs already, just wrapped up, and I've said this about OTAs. OTAs mean nothing. They're voluntary. You're not really doing anything. Everyone looks great in shorts and a helmet. Did you watch any of the OTAs or get any news from the OTAs or any perspective?
I know as much as you guys know. Darren Waller obviously is looking great. Daniel Jones was dropping dimes to him, but
no pun intended.
I'm more curious about how Deontay Banks has been looking so far. I know it's only OTAs and all that, but how are the rookies looking? Have you guys heard anything or?
Well, the rookies just finished. I mean, Rob, I really had to follow OTAs because to me, OTAs mean nothing. It's a waste of my it's a waste of my energy to make videos about the OTAs because of the fact that the OTA warriors usually never turn out to be the OTA saviors of the team. You know, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's when you get into mandatory minicamp, it is when you get into. You know, they did run some 7-on-7 drills. They ran some 7-on-9 drills. They ran some 11-on-11 drills, but you're not really doing anything there. So I mean,
exactly. There's not much to talk about at the moment.
It's great for the coaching staff to evaluate some talent, to take a look, to people to learn the playbook. It's when you get into the squeaky toys that you really are going to find where you're at.
Yeah,
I like the squeaky.
It's my daughter. Playing around. No, I mean, for me, I don't really like this whole thing where like, oh my God, Daniel Jones is throwing more deep balls today than he did the entire last season. Like, I'm not buying into that or anything like that. Me, what I'm looking for is, all right, like making sure everybody's coming out healthy. I don't want any like injuries, nothing like that. Ankles, backs, MCLs, ACLs, stuff like that, hamstrings. I don't want any of that, so I want to make sure that every day after OTAs and everything like that, they're coming out healthy and injury free. So that's a good thing. That's what I'm looking at. So, and then I want to just see how some of the younger guys are, being talked about. Are they shining? How are, what are some of the plays that the rookies that are coming in, or maybe, some of the free agents that came in, what kind of plays are they making? Are they dropping passes? How's their footwork looking? Jalen Hyatt had a few nice catches on the sideline, getting his feet in bounds, that's good. Like, I just want to kind of see these younger guys, not necessarily, I don't care about like what Waller's performance is. It's good to see him out there. He's been injured, but Jones, Waller, I don't really care about none of the veterans or any of that bullshit. I care about the young guys, and how they're looking and just coming out with no injuries. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Luke, you have everything going on with Saquon Barkley right now.
Yep.
He seems to be dug in. And as all people say, well, it's the marketplace itself is dried up for the running backs. And then we see what happened in the draft. we saw what happened. I'm moving my camera up because I want to look tall.
You're making me nauseous.
I know I want to look tall. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I already am a baller. But he's dug in. He's dug in.
Yeah.
He looks like he wants a certain number. He's saying he's not trying to get over 16, but some information came out about the first deal, Rob. And evidently, really, the only guaranteed money was in the first season. And then there was less guaranteed money after each year. This was the first deal that was offered to him during the bye week. It turned out that
last season
it was turned out he had 1 year guaranteed. They had 2 other years, and we talked about this. And then we knew this information was going to kind of come out. And then he had less guaranteed money each season afterwards. So
everybody that was shitting on him for it, he was smart to turn that down. That's bullshit.
He was smart to turn it down. So we don't know exactly what the guaranteed money is. But Luke, if you were the Giants, how much is your value for Barkley? What are you going to pay him? And at the end of the day, if you want to take a look at this, what percentage of the offense would you say that he commands in reference to just the workload itself? And let's answer that question first. How much going into 2023, what do you think Saquon Barkley's importance is going to be percentage-wise on the workload of this offense?
Well, I think the way the Giants are kind of building their team, they obviously want Daniel Jones to be throwing the ball a lot more. So I think you got to keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, you can't deny how impactful Barkley was. Like, I know he was more depended on in the earlier weeks of the season. And then throughout the season, though, I feel like did he get a little bit hurt, or am I imagining that?
He did. At one point, he hurt his shoulder in London.
He got a little banged up, yeah.
Yeah. And then they kind of let Daniel Jones air it out a little bit more as time went on. But at the end of the day, I mean, what does Daniel Jones look like without Barkley in the backfield? I think that's the question we're all kind of asking right now. I think you got to find a way to keep him here, but at the same time, you don't want to pay him that money. But I have a question, actually. Do you know the way like 2 running backs went in the top 14 picks of the draft? That shows that teams feel like the value of running backs are still worthy of drafting high. I'm just wondering, can Barkley have any leverage in his contract from just by the value of running backs being taken? So it just shows that running backs are still being taken really high. Do you get me? Am I making sense at all?
I'm going to answer this first one. I'm going to jump over to you. I think the importance of Barkley is not the draft. The importance of Barkley is his importance to the team directly.
Yeah.
Yes, the value of the running back position seems to be devalued a little bit, but yes, you showed 2 teams that took running backs high. But I think Barkley's value is more of a value to the Giants than it is to the league, because of the fact that if you look at if it's me, I'm thinking Barkley's about 45% of this offense. And that's just going back to next year. And that's why I was kind of asking about the percentage. I think he's 45% of the offense because I think the Giants are still going to, even though they've added to town, I still think they're going to go ball control. I think they're going to take more shots. But the problem is if your quarterback doesn't get the ball out of the pocket and go deep, it doesn't matter how much speed you have, how much talent you have on the outside or the middle. You are still going to need Barkley to soften up the defenses and keep them honest. Because I've said this before, if Barkley's not there, what is going to stop teams putting 7, 8, 9 in the box and daring teams, hey, go ahead, throw? Robert?
Yeah. I mean, I think when it comes down to this year, there was an influx as far as running backs that were in the draft. Last year, not so much. So this year there was a lot more running backs that were available. You had your the guy that I can't remember his name that went to Bijan Robinson. He went to Atlanta. Tyreek Gibbs. So you had a lot of running backs that were available. And I think that in this case, rather than going ahead and trying to sign a guy, they'd rather draft them. That's why I think guys like Josh Jacobs and Tony Pollard, they got tagged. Versus, giving them extensions. When it comes down to Barkley's percentage, as far as this offense, I think it's a little bit more than his production on the field, as far as his numbers. If Barkley is on the field, then he has to be accounted for, which is going to open things up for everybody else. So as far as his impact on this team, I think you got to probably say if he's on the field, his impact on this team is probably going to be in the 70 to 80 percentile, because if he's on the field, teams are going to go ahead, like Tim just said, they're going to put 8-9 guys in the box to go ahead and try to stop the run. And then at that point, you can hit him over the top with Waller. Maybe Waller's on one-on-one coverage, or Hyatt's on one-on-one coverage, or Campbell's on one-on-one coverage. And you go ahead and you attack the deep part of the field. Or maybe you get a runner, like a Darius Slayton, or you get a guy like Wanda Robinson that's coming in underneath that can get separation and one-on-one coverage and make some plays. If Barkley is not on the field, then at that point, they're going to be, protecting more for pass at that point. So then, then you could have guys like maybe Eric Gray or Matt Breida, maybe, oh, wow. We kind of saw that, one of the years, I think when Wayne Gallman, he had success. Nobody was worried about Wayne Gallman, so they were worried about the pass. So they were playing more pass coverage. Wayne Gallman had some good year, a good season, and made some plays. That's because they weren't trying to stack the box, so, Barkley's impact, I think, being on this team is huge. Whether they get a deal done or not, I thought it was interesting. With Ryan Dunleavy, he was on Talking Giants, and, some of the things that he was saying. The Giants are holding firm on their number. Barkley is holding firm at what he's looking for. And, it doesn't look like anything is kind of moving at this point. There's still time. I think the cutoff is July 15th, I think, is the cutoff.
He said he's not signing the tag. He said at least until July 15th.
Yeah. So he's not doing, at bare minimum, he's going to be here, whether that's on the tag or whether that's on an extension, but they have up until July 15th to go ahead and give him an extension. And if he doesn't, and he signs the tag, they can't renegotiate with him until the end of the season next year. So,
you know what, Luke, I just found Rob's theme music. 2, 3,
Little monkey with me.
It's gonna be Rob. Hold on, because everyone knows Rob's got the Johnny Bravo hair.
Man, I'm pretty.
Man, I'm pretty.
I'm pretty.
Little monkey with me.
That's coming up, brother.
Good choice.
Monkey with me. Come on.
That is now Rob. That is now Rob's new theme music.
Now, Tim, I remember you said you had a bone to pick with me.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna get into that. And honestly, I forgot what it was, and Zach's not here.
Good.
Let's roll through some of these real quick here. We got Timothy saying Giants will re-sign Barkley to 4 years extension worth $60 million, 15-year average. I think that's more of a question. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to give him 3 years. I think they're going to give him 2 guaranteed, and then the third year is going to be almost like an option year with no money associated with it, but I don't even know if Barkley's going to take that. We also have Mike Lee said throwing the ball deep without any pressure is a real good indicator of rolling eyes. We got a lot of everyone. Now, LJ says the Giants PR train is doing its job. In a case like this, perception is reality. They are creating a negative narrative around him. I think he means the Giants are creating a negative narrative around. We got Mr. Bruce coming in here as well, saying, hello, everyone. I wish I was on camera to speak to you guys about my opinion. I would pay Barkley, but not McCaffrey money. I'm not investing in a heavy running back to not be a Super Bowl contender. I think a lot of people would disagree in some ways. I think you to be a Super Bowl contender, the old saying has always been, you control the clock, you run the ball, you play great defense, you win a Super Bowl. And I don't think that's changed much over in the last 60 years. So, I mean, but I understand what some people say. This is also the channel, of course, if you want to go and find No Filter League. We've already got No Filter League up to, I think, 12 subscribers. Let's get 13 subscribers. Let's get him up to at least 20.
Famous.
He's famous now. We got the Admiral Mutombo coming on in. Of course, everyone knows I promoted him. Let's see. So we picked the Giants going 11-6. Luke, what's your prediction for the Giants record this year?
This is the 1 year. Like last year, I actually like I wasn't online or anything like that, but I actually nailed it down pretty well. I had what's that, like 9-8, but who was predicting the tie?
You were serious
this year though. This year,
it's harder today.
It's harder to predict this year. I feel like because when you look at the games, I think it could literally go either way. Like
you can go either way. Robert, what's your Giant prediction?
Where there?
Well, let me tell you what my what my prediction is.
Come on, what's your
I can't, bro. I can't. Make me. All right, turn the music off. You can't.
Sorry.
I would say my floor this season is 9. I would say my floor is 9 wins. And you know, I saw what who was it that just put it in there? Captain. I saw, you know, Captain
Admiral Mutombo.
Admiral.
I promoted him.
Oh, you promoted him? Okay.
Promoted him like a year ago.
Admiral Mutombo. I saw Nabakatsu saying the Giants could go 11-6, and I could see that. You know, the games that he said we would win and lose, I could see an 11-6 season if everything goes, you know, the right way and we're playing good football. You know, I could see the 11-6. So 11-6 is probably my ceiling. I'd say my floor is 9 wins.
I agree. You know who else agrees?
Where is he?
Where the?
Put him on the mic.
I can't. He's all. We got Johnny Bravo on the baby. See, we got Johnny Bravo everywhere here. That's his new nickname. He's Johnny Bravo, baby. He's R0 Bravo. Actually, that sounds too military.
You know what? I'd be honest with you, because I stream on Twitch. I might have to make a Johnny Bravo emote now.
You have to do it with the Giants hat on too.
Oh man, do the monkey with me.
We have Barkley will sign by the deadline. We got what does Richard have to say? Why do you hate Daniel Jones so much? I don't hate Daniel Jones at all. Why do you love him so much? Because he stands on a wall.
Yeah, Rich. What are you gonna do about that, Richard? Tides have turned. Boom. Flipped it on you, pal.
Just thinking a few good men. Because he stands on a wall.
Dude, so funny you just bring that up. I just watched that movie the other day for the first time.
You just watch A Few Good Men. You know how old I am?
I know.
I am old, but I'm going to tell you how old I am. I watched A Few Good Men on Laserdisc.
Wow.
That's those big ass discs. I watched it on, and I used to get with my friend Brian. We would sit there and we would drink a case of beer before we went out, and we would watch A Few Good Men. And
dude, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. There were funny moments in it. You know, like Tom Cruise makes anything funny, like, you know, his character, like he made it funny, but it was a good movie.
You want to know why?
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Luke, you ever watch A Few Good Men?
Did you order the code red?
No, honestly, I haven't seen it. I'm not much of a movie guy.
I did the job. Did you order the code red? Goddamn right I did.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yo, no, listen, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt, but if you I am gonna do it. When you were like recapping the games last year, Tim, and the first game of the year when he decided to go for 2, you should have used that soundboard. Is he going for 2? You goddamn right I did. Like that's what you should do, bro. You have to integrate that more, bro. Like those things are good.
I'm gonna have to. I'll work it in there. Jeff Newman wants Luke. Have you ever gone to Poppycockers?
Oh
no,
my
I haven't.
God! Don't answer. Hey, Luke, don't answer the question.
Okay.
Don't answer.
What
don't
is
answer
it? Can I ask what is it?
Yeah. How do you not know what Poppycockers is? Everyone knows what Poppycockers is because Poppycockers is the #1 place to go to. It's the best in adult entertainment in all of London. If you're looking for any place to go to get your Poppycockers, no better place to go than Poppycockers.
I'm gonna go.
It's not real.
You're gonna go to some random rundown fucking building. Is this Poppycockers?
Just a little thing, Luke. Poppycockers was a strip club we made up one day in my head when we were on the stream. So, and I always said it was in the West End of London. So we had some people that were going to go to London, and they came on the stream. They're like, you know, we want to go meet Dom, who you don't know because you live in the UK, but you don't know him. But he was like, we want to go to Poppycockers and meet Dom. And I just laughed because I just thought that, and we made paraphernalia and gear and everything. And I just laughed because I'm like, because Poppycockers is a imaginary strip club in my head, so you really can't go there. So I felt bad that they thought it was real.
Right, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But is there a reason why Jeff, from looking at the StreamYard screen and looking at his picture, he looks like fucking Joe Judge?
He maybe is Joe Judge. He is
kind of looks like Joe Judge from a distance.
It kind of does actually. See, Danny says, yeah, here with this guy, nailed it, Dad. Also, don't know, go and subscribe to the channel, the No Filter League. We have it up in I'm going to post it again in the chat here. I'm going to post that in there. So make sure you go and subscribe because give him a like, give him a watch, give him a view, give him all that stuff. We got what he's got. Norman saying Barkley is doing this to show his discontent. He will be back. We got Christopher saying, "Hey Tim, everyone in the chat, who do the Giants sign either on offense or defense or even both during training camp?" Rob, do you have anyone that the Giants could potentially bring in?
Yes, Tim, I do.
We're going to talk about that later. We're not going to talk about that with Luke.
Oh, fuck, Tim. God damn it.
We're going to talk about that with Luke. But do you have anyone the Giants should bring in? Realistically,
as far as on the defensive side of the ball, yeah, realistically, you could look at like I wouldn't mind like a Yannick Ngakoue, Justin Houston. I think you can get those guys for, Justin Houston. I know you can get for relatively cheap. I think he was like $1.3 million last year, so he won't cost a lot. You can definitely get him on a vet minimum, probably like $1 million on a 1-year deal, maybe a little bit less. And Yannick Ngakoue, he's been on 5 different teams. Might cost you a little bit more than that, like league minimum, like $1 million. You might get him on like on a $2 million deal, maybe. But
I have a question about Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah,
why would you bring in another defensive end who can't play the run?
That's my only knock. For me,
that's why he hasn't signed.
That's the thing with me. Like from a pass rushing perspective, he's great. He's money. I think when he was with the Raiders, and they played the Eagles, he actually sacked Jalen Hurts 3 times. This was like a couple of years ago. He had 3 sacks against Jalen Hurts. So clearly he's got Jalen's number. And that's kind of the reason I want to bring him in. But for me, I think Justin Houston is a little bit more of a well-rounded guy. Yes, he's 34, but I think he can play the run pretty decently. And when you go back and you watch a lot of Justin Houston's like old film, I think that Kayvon could actually play like that. I think he's got the athletic ability to play that way. I think he's got the strength if he keeps working out and getting stronger, which he will. I think he could definitely play like, and I think it's somebody that, some of these younger guys could learn from, like a guy like Justin Houston. Other than that, there's not really any like defenders, like DBs or anything like that we could bring in, at least that haven't been cut yet. And offensively, we'll wait till later.
Luke, anyone you want to bring in?
I like Rob's idea of Ngakoue, but does he have character concerns?
Yannick Ngakoue is actually a good guy. The only problem with him is he can't play the run. I mean, that's going all the way back to Jacksonville. I mean, they are, they've talked, and I think that is one of the main reasons why that he does not. He has not been offered really a long-term contract. I know he wanted stupid money in Jacksonville. That's why they got rid of him. But he's shown in all of his stops that he's just not a run defender. I mean, you watch some of the run defending film in Jacksonville and so in Baltimore, it's bad. And
Clowney's another name. Clowney's another name that you could bring into.
Yeah, you could.
I don't like him as a pass rusher. He's another.
You know
what he is. You know what he is, Tim? Yeah. Because we have somebody just like him. You know what he is. What is he?
A loser?
No, you have you have the audio for it.
I don't know which would.
He's the king of the almost sack.
You know what? I don't even. You know what's funny? Leonard Williams does more than he does, and
Were you talking about Clowney?
Yeah, and then Clowney.
But Carl was on a space. Carl Banks was on a space yesterday with us on Twitter. And he basically said, like, with Clowney, he's a strong guy, but he has a problem like finishing. Like he can get the pressure, he just doesn't get the sacks. But as far as run defense, he's very good against the run. That was actually a positive thing about him was, he's a very good run defender. So Clowney is another guy you can get for a very low minimum, 1 million, 1.2, something like that. But he's not. When Carl said that, I was like, well, we already got a king of the almost sack. I don't want a prince, the almost sack on the team.
Did you say that to Carl?
No, he left before I could.
Oh, no, okay. Now, who would I like to bring?
He did say he knew who you were. I know you. I know you.
I've talked to Carl Banks a couple times. And honestly, I still don't think he would know who I was.
If anybody would know who you are, it's Carl.
Howard Cross knows who I am. which I find
I can definitely
because
probably see
Howard
that.
Cross is always at the Giant games. He's always in the coaches club and he's always walking by and he's always
He used to play for the Giants, right?
yeah for like 16 years, tight end. Got a couple Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't born yet or even thought of.
Howard Cross won in the 90s.
Sorry,
He
I was
on the
born in '89.
Well, then you were still around.
Yeah, but I didn't understand football.
All right, well.
You ever met Mark Bavaro?
I met Mark Bavaro at 2 events. He's actually, I mean, like I've only met him for like a couple minutes here. I got a couple autographs and a couple pictures with him. I mean, he was a real nice guy. He's, it's funny though, because he always had the Rambo moniker, because he looked like Sylvester Stallone. But it's funny because I remember I met him once in '86 in Pasadena, just before the Super Bowl. And it was funny because then I met him again like in 2018 or 19. And it was interesting because it's like I looked at him and then I'm like, oh my God, Rambo got old. I was like, what happened here? Then I said, I must be old now too. But he was a nice guy both times that I think I met him a total of 2 or 3 times. But he was
ever met LT?
Yes.
How many times?
I met LT back in the mid 90s in Red Bank, New Jersey, in a bar. But I'm never gonna tell that. But I'm never gonna tell that story.
You have to tell me off camera.
I'll tell you off camera, but I will never tell that story. But I have met him at events, and I have met him at
Is he nice? Like, because I hear mixed things about him. Like sometimes it depends on the day. Sometimes he's an asshole.
I was literally about to say it depends on the day. Because I've met him where you go up and talk to him or you get something signed and he'll talk to you for like 5 minutes. He'll take pictures. Then I've also met him at times where he'll sign something and just throw it back to you. So, I mean,
who was your favorite Giant that you met?
The favorite Giant that I met. Oh my God.
DJ Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is probably the favorite. It's funny and it's weird, but the one Giant that I met, and people are gonna find it really weird, that is really like my favorite Giant, was Jeremy Shockey.
Really?
I heard he's really nice.
It was, what you see all and this is when he finally got all the ink on the eagle tattoo, and he was like a couple weeks after he got it all inked up, and because he used to have it where it wasn't colored, but then he got it colored during the season. And I remember him, and we were at the stadium. And we were standing on the field and he was just catching some passes. And I just said, hey, I just throw up my hands. Hey, Jeremy, what's up? Not thinking he was going to say anything, because a lot of times when you do that on the field, people don't come over and talk to you. He literally came over and just started having a conversation, started talking to me. And I laughed because I was with a friend and I was watching the game clock because, they count down to kickoff. And it was 45 minutes when he came over. When he left, there was 17 minutes left to kickoff. And he was late going back into the locker room
because he was talking with you.
He was just talking to me and my buddy. We were just shooting the shit, and it was so funny. And I don't even remember what the conversation was, but we didn't even talk about football.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Tim, and I know this is kind of maybe getting a little bit off topic, but we do that here. We get a little bit off topic from time to time, slightly. We were talking in a space yesterday actually, and we were talking about like when Eli Manning came in, and that there was an odd relationship between Eli and Jeremy Shockey, and it was like semi-toxic. It wasn't like really toxic, but it was like semi-toxic, and it had to do with like a leadership aspect of it, because Jeremy felt obviously like he was the leader on the offense, and then obviously Eli comes in and stuff like that. And I wanted to ask your opinion on that. Like, what was there an issue? What do you think it was? And when it comes down to like all of these guys, like old Giants interviews, stuff like that, like the Giants won a Super Bowl, and I know Jeremy wasn't like he was on that team, but he hurt his leg.
Yeah.
I've never seen him back in the building. Never seen him interviewed. Like, is there a legitimate rift between the two?
Not between Eli. I think there's an issue with the organization. If you remember during that Super Bowl, Jeremy Shockey didn't watch it, wasn't on the sidelines. Jeremy
was in the booth.
He was in the booth watching that game. And to me, that was telling. Phil Simms, when he got hurt in 90, he wasn't on the sidelines. No, he wasn't on the sidelines.
He was in the booth.
He actually watched it from the tunnel. Because you have videos of him actually watching a lot of the game from the tunnel, because, he said a long, long time ago in an interview, he didn't want to be a distraction to Jeff Hostetler. because of the fact that he led the team, to the 10-1 record, then got hurt in Buffalo, then everything happened in Hostetler because it was Hostetler's team. Shockey to me always had an issue. I think there was something that must have gone on in reference to his injury that he holds a grudge against the entire Giant organization. Yes, I do think him and Eli didn't mesh, but they meshed on the field. But Shockey was always outspoken. But the telling thing to me was he wasn't at any of the Giant celebrations for the rings after the Super Bowl. He didn't do anything. So to me, it wasn't Eli. I think he had a problem with either Coughlin or Mara or because then he got traded. Then he got sent over to the Saints. So there had I don't like I said the story will probably come out one day, but I think there had to be something very, very wrong with that situation.
Yeah, because obviously, and the reason why I ask is because Akeem Nicks was just at OTAs, I think on like day 3, right? They were there. Victor Cruz is there all the fucking time. And he's there. Strahan is there all the time. Tuck has been there. You've got all of these guys that have been there. I haven't seen guys like AP, Antonio Pierce. I haven't seen him show back up or AR, Antro Roll. I haven't seen some of these guys. And Shockey, I was shocked like that. I've never seen him interviewed when it comes to Giant stuff, talking about the Giants, back in the facility, nothing. He's like a ghost, like if he never existed.
Yeah.
And so I just found that interesting and wondered like what, is there like a major issue between those two?
I think there's much the organization. Well, let's roll. Luke, I want to get to you for your final thoughts here because I got to talk to Rob. I'm going to roll through some of these real quick. We got Christopher saying that
Zach's here.
11-6. We got Zach attacks here. He'll remind me. 11-6 or 9-8. We got the Beaner in here coming in and saying, "What's up, G Nation?" Joe Rev says, "With this schedule, 6-7 wins." We got Ignore saying, "Do we have 10-7 wins?" Mike Lee says, "It's sad when given facts is being hateful." Thank you.
I agree.
Did you order the code red? Damn right I did. But we're to play. That's how late I am behind this.
Right, I did.
Daniel Jones has a beautiful soul. That's because we're all about feng shui here. We got Max on the beat. What's up, Max?
I'm not gonna do it.
He doesn't hate Daniel Jones. I actually think if anything, he wants him to succeed because that means the Giants will be. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I've said a bazillion times.
That's what we've all been saying.
Read this again. Richard, he doesn't hate Daniel Jones. I actually think if anything, he wants him to succeed because that means the Giants will be good. He just currently doesn't think Daniel Jones has done enough to warrant the trust. Okay, we're gonna end the show here because that was the perfect comment. Of course, I'm just kidding. But yes, that's 1,000%. I don't think there is 1,000, but LJ gave him 100%. That being said, my faith is mainly in Dable, but I trust DJ about 60% to when the last season started. There's a lot. Well, actually, I could give him a 60%.
I'd give Daniel 60 to 70% of trust.
I'm not going 70. That's crazy.
All right, fine. I'll go 65.
Okay, that's good. Luke, what do you give him?
I give 60%.
60%. Oh, we got Dom in the chat. I didn't see Dom there. Poppycock is real for me. I go there all the time. We got Dominic. Dom, do you know Luke? He's from Ireland, so you guys all know. Tune in whilst I leave to hear poppycockers talk. Jeff said no relation. We got Max on the beat also coming up here saying, "I think we need an edge rusher. I love Justin Houston, but his history with Wink had just 9 sacks last season. Well, that's not bad." Here we go.
Yeah,
DeAndre Hopkins needs to be a Giant. Hopkins didn't come in for some.
Yes, Jabri. Yes, Jabri. Yes,
that's Mr. Bruce. Let's see. And your logic, your hope all as well. Let's see. Max on B plus. I think an older edge would take our younger pass rushers under my wing. You know what? Here's the thing. I didn't give who I wanted to bring in, and nobody asked me.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah,
who would you like to bring in to the Giants, if any? I'm glad you brought that up.
All right, guys, let's move on to Deion. No, because I'm glad you brought that up because of the fact that I would like to bring in.
God damn, Jimmy, this some serious gourmet shit. Me and Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taste Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us.
Because there's nothing more gourmet than
Pulp Fiction.
That's from Pulp Fiction. Because there's nothing more gourmet than Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee, the smoothest tasting coffee on the planet. People are wondering, why are you pitching Black Rifle Coffee? Because I'm doing a 30-day challenge with them right now. They're not a partner. They're not a sponsor. But I told them I'm going to wear a Black Rifle shirt every day for the next 30 days because they believed I didn't have that many shirts. This is day 4. So anyone if you're out there from Black Rifle, my partnerships are cheap. I'm cheap. Just send me a bag of coffee. Just send me a bunch of bags of coffee. And I will sit here and pitch you on the show daily.
Is that all it takes?
That's it, really. Black Rifle, man. You send me the Black Rifle.
Send him a bag of coffee, guys. He'll be on his back in no time.
You send me a couple bags of coffee and a couple gear. I will pimp the hell out of Black Rifle. That's how much I love the coffee. Okay, let's see here. LJ says the Dominator's in the house. Yannick is also overrated. We got Logic's finest all the way from Germany. Being realistic and having blind hope doesn't make you a good fan. Being objective and realistic isn't doom and gloom. It's being honest. Dom, I'm doing well. Best to your family. Dom, are you an Arsenal fan? I forget what it is. My thoughts exactly, Rob. We don't know what you were thinking. What was you thinking?
I think it was when we were talking about Justin Houston, I think.
Okay. What linebackers are available? None that we can afford. Very true, says Dom. We got that.
The money's not real.
The money's okay. This is what I want to talk about briefly for a second. Giants right now in total contract value are negative 27 million. They have an estimated, in my book, about 3.9 million in cap space with the rule of 51. So yeah, we're not bringing anyone with big name. We're not bringing in big money. We got Alexander, we got Leonard Floyd, and we got Jones and JPP. No. Hey, T-Brad is in his house. What's going on, T-Brad? T-Brad, we're going to be doing a subscriber members thing at the Trenton Thunder game. We're going to have a suite. So I want to talk to you offline about that. Max on the beat says, yes, Houston and Floyd would be great. Bavaro was the boss, broken jaw and all. Joe Rev also says, not another
king of the almost sack.
But how about president of the almost?
He's the prince.
He's
the prince. He would be the prince
of that. Black Rifle.
No, wait, because his name is Clowney. Wouldn't he be? What are they called? The ones that try to entertain the king. Yeah, he'd be the court jester.
We got Logic Finance also coming in saying, Tim, big, hope you and the family are doing well. Rob's family's doing well too. Black Rifle has sexy soul. Steve says July 17th, 4 p.m. Barkley signs. That's what he's going to do. He said, all souls on the screen from the viewers, left to right, sexy cool, blah, blah, blah. All right. Luke.
Yep.
We always have. Thanks for coming in for an hour. I got a bullshit with Rob a little bit.
Thank you very much.
He's got something to talk about. Those that do not know, go to the No Filter League. It's the view.
Go check them out.
It's the view from Ireland. So make sure you go over there. Everyone knows that I'm Irish. It's one of those things. We have a symbiotic relationship. Because like Dom, you're up to 15 subscribers. Get him up before the day. Come on, guys. But Luke, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you putting up with Rob because you know what? I mean,
because you're no filter, I'll say fucking thank you.
We're gonna close out here with Luke, bringing them all here because we're all gonna do the booking with it because we got the big Rob.
Cheers, boys. Thanks a million.
Radio show. This is Tim for the morning too. We got in for you with from the helicopter in the sky. But until then, stay sexy. All right, Luke, we appreciate you coming in, man. Hope you have yourself a good time. Hope you enjoyed the channel. And those, like I said, those do not know, go find Luke, the No Filter League. And Luke, we salute you for spending an hour with.
Take it easy, sir.
Pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Indeed, same.
All right, Rob. It's been burning in you. I can see it. Robert.
Timmy.
What would you like to chat? First of all,
Timothy. No, you use Timothy would be the proper name.
First, Tim. First of all, Rob, what would you like to chat about today? Is there a topic? Is there a subject that you would like to broach at this point in time?
Yeah, there is.
Really? What is it?
Yeah. Let me tell you.
All right. No. Glasses off. No, not doing it. Not doing it. Sorry.
All right.
Thank you. Not
You're
doing
welcome.
it. Not doing it.
I would like to first and foremost, can you get the fucking poppy cockers off of my head, please?
Staying right there.
No, get it down.
Take it down.
Please take it down. It's fucking right here, bro. Take that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. We should talk about
Let's give him
the most electrifying wide receiver free agent on the market right now. DeAndre Hopkins.
Jerry Rice.
Fuck off. Actually, he is technically a free agent.
He is a free agent.
He is.
Yeah.
Jerry, you want to come play?
Why not? We're bringing in everyone else.
I'll be honest with you, Jerry Rice could probably still go out there and run a couple of routes.
I'm so fat.
Brendan, I heard that. I heard Jesus is available too. So I'm going to go and sign him.
Jesus is always available.
That's exactly right. So go ahead. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I forgot to ask that. All right. So what? Tell me about Dion. First, no, just tell me about it because I got a lot of questions.
I mean, we'll ask. I'll answer.
Well, no. First, tell me your D-Hop.
Look, look. My thing is where I stand with this is all of last season we heard numerous amount of Giants fans talking about weapons. Oh my God! Well, if Daniel Jones was on the Eagles and he had AJ Brown and he had Devonta Smith and he had Dallas Goedert, he would have won the MVP and he would have went to the Super Bowl and he would have beaten Mahomes and he would have done this and would have done that and everything. And you arguably have a top 7, definitely top 10 wide receiver that is available right now. And you could go out there. You didn't have to trade. You don't have to trade assets for him. You don't have to go ahead and give a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, or sixth, or seventh round pick. You don't have to give away future assets for him. You just have to offer him the most money. And at this particular point, the way I look at it is they've invested in Daniel Jones. They feel that they believe in him, not me, not Tim. That's why they make the decision. That's why Tim is not the GM of the Giants. I'm not the GM of the Giants. We don't make those financial decisions. They do. They clearly believe that they have something with Daniel Jones. They went out and traded a top 100 pick for Darren Waller. They traded up twice in the draft and got a top-tier corner and moved up in the draft and get Jalen Hyatt. They feel that they are ready to compete, or they want to compete right now to try to get themselves into a window to win a championship. And they went ahead and signed a guy like Ashawn Robinson, and they signed a guy like Nacho. And right now, what better weapon could you go ahead and add than a DeAndre Hopkins? And right now, the reason why I'm all for it is, one, because it's DeAndre Hopkins. He's a top-tier wide receiver. Yes, he got hurt in 2021. He was suspended last year for 8 games for PEDs. But it's the first time that he's been suspended, so it's not like he was doing it on a regular basis. A couple of seasons.
Wait, you can't say that. You can also say it was the first time he got caught.
I mean, you're not guilty until you're proven guilty.
So I'm just saying that I'm going to tell you this.
I'm not going to go off of that, though.
I'm not going to get off of that, but I'm just saying you can't say it was a one-time mistake. You can't say
it was because he was suspended once.
But I'm also saying it was the first time. It could also be the first time he got caught.
Have you ever stolen before in your life?
No, my father.
I have.
I am the son of a Marine.
So I used to steal all the time when I was younger from Sports Authority. We used to go and steal football gloves and just put them on, try to catch it. Oop, we ripped them apart and we'd go and we play like football. And I got caught once. So at the end of the day, it's like you could be doing something and doing.
So you stole multiple times, got caught once.
Well, stole multiple times, only got caught once.
So DeAndre Hopkins could have used P's multiple times and only got caught once.
He could have. Listen, I'm not denying and saying that he could have been or couldn't have been or whatever. The fact is, he got caught once and got suspended. I highly doubt he's going to get suspended again this season. He's not going to get caught on that.
P's twice.
But the fact of the matter is, at 31 years old, if you would have played the way he was playing last year, when he got there, he was top 5 as far as being a wide receiver, as far as wide receiver production last year. So in 9 games, he had 64 receptions for 117 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was on pace, if he would have played the whole year, for almost 1,400 yards, well over 100 receptions, and probably about 6 or 7 touchdown passes.
Don't forget to you come into to fantasy land here. As Mike Lee says, Rob is in fantasy land again.
I'm going
to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
A couple questions here. And I'm Irish. I'm actually not a USC fan. I watch USC football. I do like USC football, but I'm not really a fan of theirs. But I'm more of a college football fan. than I am like a specific team. I like, it depends. Chris also says Yannick would be a good value signing for the edge. His stats show good production, even though he's been on 5 teams. A 2-year deal, $8 million, $6 million guaranteed wouldn't be bad. Problem is he can't play the run. We got enough guys that have a problem with holding the edge. We don't need to add another guy. Okay, so DeAndre is going to be what, 31 this year?
I think he is 31. I don't think he turns 30. I don't think he turns 32 either till like the end of the year or like.
But he's 31.
He's 31.
Okay, he's 31.
I'm pretty sure he's.
I don't remember if he's 31.
I'm pretty sure he's 31.
But he's 31. Either way, he's 31 this year.
Correct.
Okay. He's had issues the last 2 seasons.
He's 30.
He's 30. Okay. I thought he was gonna turn 31 this year. I did think that. But he
was born June 6th, so he's gonna be 31.
He's gonna be 31
in a couple weeks.
So he's had issues the last 2 seasons, either with injuries or peaks, correct?
Yes.
Okay. He has come out also just recently and listed 5 quarterbacks.
Wrong.
I
already know where you're going with that. Wrong.
Wait, no, I'm just asking. But did he come out and list 5 quarterbacks that he wanted to play, that he would consider playing with?
Spinning it the wrong way.
No, I'm not spinning wrong. I'm just asking a question. I'm not spinning anything yet.
He was asked.
I'm not asked. Who are 5 quarterbacks that you would like to play with? That you would play with?
It was who you would like to catch a pass from.
Right. But the logical explanation would be to catch a pass means to play with.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
because people. No. Yeah, because people could ask me who I'd like to play football with.
I'm not done yet. I'm not. Yeah, but you're not a free agent, and you didn't know you were probably going to get released.
No, but
wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm just asking questions.
Sure.
So he did list 5 quarterbacks he would like to catch a pass from. Mm-hmm. Was any of them Daniel Jones?
No.
Okay. So he is 31.
Are you going to bring up the other part that he mentioned? What he's looking for?
I'm not done yet here. I'm not done yet. So he's 31 years old. He's had issues over 2 seasons. He has mentioned at some point in time that if he wants to catch a pass from someone, it's not Daniel Jones. He is probably going to be looking to go to a contender or a perceived contender that he can, because he is also going to be now we can agree that at 31, Rob, he is no longer under contract from an NFL roster. He is a free agent. At 31, is this going to be his last big, probably the percentages says this is going to be his last big contract years?
Probably be like one of his, like
this is where he is probably going to make the bulk of his money to go through retirement or try to live comfortably.
Or up until he retires.
Up until he retires, correct. So, and also we've gone to the fact that the Giants right now have 91 active players and negative $27 million in cap space. We also have gone into the fact that the Giants are just a little under 4 million with going through the rule of 51. So when the rule of 51 expires at the end of training camp, that number is going to drop exponentially. And Joe Shane has come out and said that he also wants to bring in at least have $10 million in operational cap space during the season. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we can agree on that. So you went in also and traded up to get a wide receiver in this year's draft. Mm-hmm. You went out to free agency and brought in multiple wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
You also re-signed Darius Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
You also brought in Walla Waller.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everyone in the league kind of already knew for probably like 3-4 months now that D-Hop was on the trade block.
Mm-hmm.
And most people had already came under the assumption that Kyler Murray being out, if he was not traded, more than likely he was going to get released. So most of the people were probably the reason his trade value was so low is because teams were just waiting for him to get released, and that happens in the league because
not according to Tom Pelissero.
If you have a truculent situation, a lot of times you will get released, and they kind of already indicated with the lack of Kyler Murray, with the rebuild in Arizona, that they were trying to get rid of D-Hop.
Correct, but what Tom Pelissero reported on the Rich Eisen show is that they had a team in place. They had a team in place that was going to make the trade. What happened is before the trade was officially agreed to, OBJ signed his contract. And then the team that was in the mix pulled out because they saw what OBJ got signed for, which was like 15 million, all of that stuff, and that put the brakes on it. And that's when things went south. And basically, D-Hop forced his way out, which is a smart decision from a player's perspective, forced his way out of Arizona because at that point he said, okay, well, I'm not going to come down. So you're either going to pay me and I'll be here, or you're going to cut me.
Okay, this is where I'm going with this. When did OBJ sign his contract?
I think it was like maybe a month before the draft or 3 weeks before the draft.
April 10th, he signed his contract.
Yeah, so like 3 weeks before the draft.
So teams knew in April, to your point, that they pulled out of the deal, and more than likely there was an opportunity that D-Hop was going to get released. Because the Arizona was done. Arizona came, but we're not going to get into that. So we've already come to the conclusion that you've already spent a large amount of money. Giants have already gone out in free agency to find players. We also went out and we also went out and traded for someone. We drafted someone. We've re-signed players. We don't have cap space to do anything that large. And we've also come to the assumption that D-Hop is probably going to want to get paid because he's not going to take a 1-year deal, and he's not going to take a deal where he gets $2 million this year and everything next year. We've come to these because players, this is what I love about fans.
Why wouldn't he do that?
Because a lot of players need money. I don't want to break this news to people.
But he's getting money from Arizona.
I've seen play. Oh my God, this is what kills me about fans. I've seen players firsthand who've made, and I'm not going to say names, who've made millions of dollars that were broke. And they don't go out to the media and say, hey, we got no money. But I'm just letting you know this. And I always love when fans
it's not like he's not getting money from Arizona this year.
Why wouldn't they take the money? But here's the deal. You have all these factors, you have all these situations.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage, looking at all that from a logical perspective, would anyone think that he's coming to the Giants?
So here's the thing with the
salary cap alone precludes you from this signing.
You have $60 million in next year's cap space that's going to be available.
But he's not going to take a veteran minimum deal.
You don't have to worry about taking a veteran minimum deal. Even Tom Pelissero said you can give him a $16 million deal this year, put a void year in it. He would count on against your cap for $4 million, and you put the rest as a signing bonus.
You only have $3.8 million right now with the rule of 51.
They have 6.1.
Giants do not have 6.1. One thing I will tell people: never fuck with me with the salary cap.
It was posted out.
I have said this a million times. You can look at all these numbers that are posted. I have not been wrong in 3 years via $100,000 either way.
Look, you got two guys that you could go ahead and you could restructure if you want to extend and free up almost $20 million in cap space.
Who is that going to be?
Dory and Leo.
So you're going to extend those contracts? And no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're not.
I mean, you asked me.
But I'm asking you to
look. Here's the thing with the interview that everybody's going off of. Hold on, this is the interview that everybody's going off of. They asked him two separate questions, and the questions are two totally different questions. But people want to go ahead and they want to mix the two and say one answer is telling you who he wants to play for. They asked him, the first question that they asked him is, "What are you looking for?" And what he said was he was looking for stable front office, coach and GM, which we have. He was looking for a good defense, which I would say we have a good defense.
Where was our defense ranked last year? I forget. What was the ranking?
It was the middle of the pack.
No, 29th.
We have a good defense.
We were ranked 29th last year.
We have our defense against the teams. Our defense against the run was bad, and we were banged up in our secondary. We have a good defense. And he also mentioned the defensive line. We just re-signed Dexter. You have Leo. You brought in Ashawn. You went ahead and you brought in Nacho. You got DJ Davidson coming back. You drafted Jordan Riley. You have Nick Williams coming back. You've got a solid defensive line rotation. And then he even said, quarterback doesn't matter to me. I've went and I've played with them all. I want a quarterback that loves the game, that gets his team ready, and that the team rallies behind. The Giants check all of those boxes. We could say what we want to say about whether we think his talent or whether Daniel Jones is gonna exceed expectations. The one thing that we cannot say is that he's not respected and he's not a leader in the locker room, because he is. He's very well respected and the team gets behind him. Then Brandon Marshall and the woman who does the interviews went to him and said, "Hey, you know what? In your career, who would you like to have catched a pass from, or who would you like to catch a pass from?"
You are fixating on one point. I just gave you 12 others. And
I'm gonna
get to wrap it up because that was a minor point.
But the point is that then he named Justin Herbert. He named all of these guys. I could name 5 guys that I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to catch a pass from as far as quarterbacks. That doesn't mean I want to go there and play or that I'm going to ever do it. Those are a wish list. The next thing I'm going to say is this. If he wants to win a chip, the only team in the AFC that really makes sense is Kansas City. Maybe you can make an argument for Cincinnati. Other than that, in the AFC, it is a tough road ahead to try to get to the Super Bowl. When you look at the NFC, what teams in the NFC have stable front office, have a quarterback that is respected, and that you have an opportunity where that makes sense for him to go to? He's not going to go to Philadelphia. They're not going to go ahead and add him in. Dallas.
Wait. Why is Philadelphia not going to add him in?
Because they just traded and gave AJ Brown a contract. They have Devontae Smith. They have Dallas Goedert.
You drafted a wide receiver, traded for a tight end, re-signed your wide receiver staffs, and drafted a wide receiver.
I'm sorry. Do we have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on this roster?
You can't have 3 good wide receivers on a team. That's not allowed.
The 2 guys that are on their team are proven. Nobody's proven on our roster at all.
Darren Waller's not proven?
I'm talking about wide receivers.
Darius Slayton's not proven?
No, he's not.
Really? Darius Slayton?
No, he's not. He's
really?
a number. Nobody. I don't think anybody would say that Darius Slayton is as good as Devontae Smith.
I'm not saying he's as good as Devontae Smith is. I am saying this. He's not as good as Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith, D-Hop also, like I said, it doesn't fit.
How does it not fit?
Because of the fact that if you look at the way this team is constructed, you go out and you sign D-Hop. What do you think is going to happen to Saquon Barkley?
I don't know. It's going to have a lot more holes to run through.
Do you think Saquon Barkley is going to get his contract? If you
he
go out
can
and
still get his contract. Listen, they gave Daniel.
Oh my God! You know what?
Listen.
I'm not listening. I don't have to listen. I can do math. 1 + 1 = 2. That is called math.
I understand that, but listen, they can go ahead and they've already started pushing money back to previous years. They've already started adding void years.
He's already come out and said that he does not like.
But he's been doing it. He can tell me he doesn't like it. He's been doing it.
Do it out of necessity.
But he's been doing it. D-Hop is not a necessity?
No, he's not.
Oh, my God.
He's not.
All right.
He's not a necessity. He's not.
At the end of the year, when we're saying we don't have enough talent around Daniel Jones, I'm going to remember this moment.
You can remember it all you want because I'm going to say this right now. You went out and got Daniel Jones his proverbial weapons. You went out and re-signed. Well, not really technically re-signed, but you went out and tagged Saquon Barkley.
We're literally comparing Paris Campbell and Darius Slayton to DeAndre Hopkins right now.
Yes, because they fit the Giants' offense better.
DeAndre Hopkins, there's no fit. DeAndre Hopkins can fit in any type of scheme.
Are we a vertical team? Are we a deep ball team? Are we a vertical passing team?
I'm sorry, D-Hop's not running streaks.
Vertical. See, this is the other thing that pisses me off about people. Just because someone says vertical, it doesn't mean you're running 20, 30 yards down the field. Vertical means you're throwing the ball beyond 4 or 5 yards.
Okay, what scheme were they running in Houston when he was there?
Which one? With Deshaun Watson?
When D-Hop was because D-Hop and Deshaun only played like 1 year together, I think.
I don't even remember how many years they played.
1 or 2 years.
I don't remember how many years they played together. And I don't remember.
There's what scheme? Like there's
I don't remember what scheme Bill O'Brien was running.
But the scheme that they were running in Houston,
Texas.
But the scheme they were running in Houston is not the same scheme that Kingsbury was running in Arizona.
But you are not going to sit there and get someone that you really can't afford. And then after everything you've already done and turn around and spend the money, Shane's not going to do it.
He's going to be
How much
you can do it
right now.
You can sign him. I guarantee you. And Sal said this, and I think it's 100% accurate.
No,
3 years, $54 million would get it done.
You know what they say? I will bet you $1,000 right now that the Giants will not sign him.
And that's again, I'm not saying that they will.
No,
that's not what I'm saying.
No.
But they need to.
So confident in this. If you're so confident in this,
I'm confident that Joe Shane needs to be involved.
Joe Shane's not going to be involved. I always hear these things that Joe Shane's going to be involved, and then Joe Shane says, "Yeah, we made a phone call." That's not being involved. We have a saying on this show, and I think it's very apropos. And like I said, if you think something's going to happen, you should we always put our money where our mouth is. Because you know why?
Time to nut up or shut up.
It's time to either Nut up or shut up. $1,000 on the line right now. Giants do not sign DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm not saying that they will. I never said that they will.
Just went over all these things that I've seen on Twitter.
I said I'm saying what. Yeah, I think they should sign him. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm not saying that we will sign him. I'm not guaranteeing, but we should. Look, at the end of the day, we're talking about cap. We're talking about money. We're talking about they don't got money. They gonna listen. Who gives a shit if they're backloading money and they do this? If they win a Super Bowl or they're winning games, who cares? At that point, if you're winning games and win a Super Bowl, the money don't matter.
Is not wasting that money. D-Hop is not going to put the Giants in the Super Bowl.
I guarantee you that if they sign him, we are contending to go to the conference championship game, and we're a contender in the NFC. 100%. 100%.
All right, $1,000.
100% we would.
$1,000 right now.
I don't bet money. If we were to sign DeAndre Hopkins, we are 100% a contender in the NFC. Well, and the fans that say that we're going to split with Philly, you now become a potential to where you can split with Philadelphia.
It's not a bet if you think it's going to happen.
DeAndre Hopkins is a has-been. Meanwhile, Davey, you were probably somebody that wanted to trade for Brandon Cooks at the trade deadline last year.
First of all, don't insult people in the chat. That's not nice. That's not nice. Rob's going to have to go in timeout. We don't insult Davey. We don't insult people in the chat. That we have heated conversations here, but you know what? We're all adults. We don't insult people in the chat.
I was poking a joke.
Apologize to Davey.
Davey, I'm sorry.
Thank you. You go on other channels and insult people, but I don't allow anyone to insult anyone that's been watching this channel for a long period of time. Let's see. We're going to get Marcus Peterson, Patrick Peterson too. We're going to sign all these people. Chris says the quarterback
Marcus Peterson.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's Marcus Peterson?
The cornerback from Baltimore.
Patrick Peterson?
No, Marcus. Marcus Peters.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Marcus Peters is?
Marcus Peters? Oh, the corner? Oh no, I don't want Marcus Peters.
Played with the wing. Played a whole bunch of years in the
Sorry. I had a brain fart.
Chris says the quarterback and Hopkins said he would like to play with what coincides with the coaching, the defense, and statement he made. All right. We have so Christopher, Tony, E-Girls are looking to trade for Bubba too. Oh yeah, I saw Bubba Baker. I saw that, but I don't think we're not trading for Bubba Baker either. Let's see here. You got a minus the Chargers head coach. We got Blazin saying, why do we as fans always look for the easy route to build our team? There we go. Let's run with our young guys and let them mature and grow together. Because Rob wants to win one Super Bowl.
Isn't that Blazin? Isn't that what we did last year? And then at the end of the year, when we made it to the playoffs, everybody was like, "We don't have any weapons. We don't have this. We're running with Walmart wide receivers."
Here's the problem: we wanted to fire Kafka or demote him week 11. So I don't go back.
I don't understand that. And let me address one other thing that somebody said. I think it was Chris, where he said,
"I haven't gotten to all the comments yet."
Oh well, you mentioned that comment already.
Oh, I did. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So when he said the QB Hopkins, mentioned coincides with where he wanted to go, that's wrong, right? One, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they could win a Super Bowl this year, and Andy Reid could retire. No consistent coaching staff or owner or GM, but you're going to get a different head coach in there. Buffalo, right now, Sean McDermott's on the freaking hot seat. He was on the hot seat last year. If they don't win this year or actually do something this year and they go to the playoffs and lose again, he could be on the hot seat and lose his job. John Harbaugh, the Ravens are calling for John Harbaugh for the Ravens. They're calling him to get fired. So that's going to be somebody that could right there. Who's the other AFC team? The Chargers. Yeah, they just got the guy, I don't know his name, Chris Clemens or whatever the freak his name is from Dallas. But the Badley coach, whatever his name is, he's on the hot seat. He's probably going to get fired. Is Dable going anywhere in the next 2 years? 3 years, maybe? Most? No. Is Shane going anywhere in the next 2 or 3 years? No.
All right, here you go. Here are my teams. The Eagles, Kansas City, the 49ers.
No.
The Bengals, because you can also because you're already talking about trading. What's his name as well?
Who?
T. Higgins.
They're not. They already said that we're not trading.
I know, but you know what? People say things, and sometimes people don't tell the truth. The Dallas Cowboys, I would think he would be considered. Buffalo, I
think he would traded for Cooks.
It doesn't. Yeah, you just complained about Cooks a minute ago. I think even with OBJ, I think the Ravens could also be a fit. I think the Jets are a better fit. I think Seattle.
The who?
Seattle Seahawks. They have Lockett and they have Metcalf, and they took the first.
They just drafted JSN.
I was going to say they took the kid in the first round, but he's unproven. You have already talked about the fact.
Did you say the Jags?
No, I didn't say the Jags.
Oh, I thought you said the Jags.
I said the Jets. Jets.
The Jets. Yeah.
Jets. They have Randall Cobb. They have what's his name, Lazard or whatever the hell his name is. They got rid of what did they get rid
of?
They
got Gilbert or whatever the
rookie.
But
you could still bring him in with Aaron Rodgers
or Garrett Wilson.
And also think that you also have to look here seriously at the San Diego Chargers, because I don't call them the Los Angeles Chargers. Because I always like saying San Diego Superchargers. You got to do it the old school way. Make sure you hit the like button while you're in there.
I think the three teams that make sense to me is Chiefs, Jets, Giants, Ravens. Those four teams.
Rob with the new math.
Why? So look. So why would they go to the Why would he go to the 49ers? They barely have any money. They've already got They got Kittle. They've got Debo. They've got Ayuk. He's not going to go there. The Ravens make sense. The Jets make sense. He's not going to go to the Chargers. The Chargers.
Why is he not going to go to the Chargers?
I don't think he's going to go to the Chargers. They're not going
to. We're talking about teams that make sense. Why are the Chargers?
Because they got Mike Williams already. They just drafted Johnston. They have Keenan Allen.
Johnson's unproven. They also have Joshua Palmer.
But I understand. But you're not going to go ahead if you drafted a wide receiver in the first round, and then you're going to go and sign and make that first round pick the fourth wide receiver on your depth chart.
Why not? That shows
because you're not. They invested in a top 20 pick.
It shows you're a deep team.
Not happening, Chargers. What was the other team that you mentioned?
It's actually really funny. Players can, not play for a year. It's okay. I mentioned
the Cowboys. Cowboys have less money than we do.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are always stupid and they always find a make the way it happen. Then
everybody wants to link the Cowboys to every free agent. Oh my God, OBJ.
How many times do the Cowboys make a trade or sign a free agent that they think
they're not gonna? They're not. Cowboys are out.
What's his name? Didn't they just add Stephon Gilmore? When no one thought they were going to be able to do that, didn't they also trade for what's his name, Braden Cooks? When
they traded for Stephon Gilmore for a 5th round pick, and then they traded for Gilmore and they traded for Cooks. They're not going to do anything more.
I'm just saying though. But you talk about teams doing. I also
only way that I could see them doing it is if like Lamb gets hurt or Gallup got hurt. Then I would see them do it like in OTAs or whatever. Then
who's better, D-Hop or Gallup?
I mean, Gallup is younger. He's already under contract. He's already on the team.
Who was? You were talking about the better player. Who is better, D-Hop or Gallup?
Of course, D-Hop is better, but you already have a guy in place. So it's been there for years.
Would you rather have D-Hop or Gallup?
But Gallup already got a contract.
That's not the question. If you were a Cowboy, who would you rather have?
No, there's a totally situation.
No, it's a very simple question.
Yes, if you were a Cowboy,
who would you have? Who would you rather have?
Without a contract already being in place, I would take DeAndre Hopkins, but they just gave Gallup a contract 2 years ago. So they're not going to bring in another guy.
2 years ago, they gave him the contract, but okay.
Yes, but he's already been there, and he's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. DeAndre Hopkins is not going to the Cowboys. He's not going to the Eagles. He's not going to the 49ers. He's not going to go to the Seahawks. It's either going to be Ravens, Jets, Kansas City, or Giants. Those 4 teams.
I have a question.
And who was it?
I have a question for you because Gallup's such a great player. How many receptions does Gallup have over the last 2 years?
Well, he missed the whole year because he tore his ACL.
No, but how many receptions has he had going back to all right, fine. How many receptions has he had going back to 2020?
I know he's over 100.
He's over 100, but I'm going to read you this. Okay. And he did play most of 2022.
And you got to remember too, in 2021 he tore his ACL, but in 2020
here's what I'm laughing
Dak got hurt.
This is what I'm laughing about. This is what I want to read to you right now. Okay, so in 2020 he had 59 receptions for 843 yards and 5 touchdowns. The year he got hurt in 2021, he played in 9 games. He had 35 receptions for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he averaged.
How many games did he play?
And he played in 9 games. Okay. So at 12.7. And then 2022, he played in 14 games. He had 39 receptions for 424 yards, 10.9, 4 touchdowns. So you're saying that just because he's a contract and he signed with a team, he is better than suited right now because than for the Cowboys than D-Hop. But I want to ask you another question going back to 2020. There's a guy who had 50 receptions for 751, 3 touchdowns. 2021, he had 26 for 339 for 13, only played in 13 games. And then last year he had 46 receptions for 724 yards, 15.7 and 2 touchdowns.
Darius Slayton.
There you go.
Give me a break.
I'm just pointing out facts.
The conversation was the conversation. Listen, there's a big difference. Hold on. What's Gallup's contract? What's his APY? Gallup.
Darius Slayton is under contract right now. He signed a contract, and you said you would take him better. You would take him over DeAndre Hopkins, and you would not take DeAndre Hopkins over Darius Slayton. You would take Darius Slayton. Excuse me. You take DeAndre Hopkins over Darius Slayton. You said that. Yeah. You said that 100%. But when I said he could go to Dallas, you kept talking about how great Michael Gallup was. But statistically, Slayton's been better over the last 3 years, playing about the same amount of games.
That's not what I said. I said
you said you wouldn't sign him because he's got a contract.
Yes, the big difference there, bro.
What's
huge difference?
What's the big difference?
The big difference is that Michael Gallup next year in 2023 counts for what is it? His total cap hit, he's got a dead money cap of $19 million. His total cap hit is I'm not. Well, actually, that's his pre-June. His dead money. He's got a 6.7. He counts for 6.7 next year.
Oh, wait, no, wait, 15. Wait. Slow down there. You can't restructure his deal and move some of that money because
that is not what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying. But in 2024, he's got no money. He's got no guarantee. 2024, 2025.
That's not what I'm saying.
You can't just move that.
My point is, and I'm pulling it up right now. My point is, you have a guy in Michael Gallup that you gave a 5-year deal to. Okay, that right now his cap hit is $4.2 million, and the next year it's 7.7. Michael Gallup is counting for double that amount. I would replace a guy like a Darius.
No. Wait. In 2023, what's his cap hit?
4.2.
Okay.
For Slayton.
I'm talking about Gallup. I'm not talking about Slayton.
Gallup is almost $7 million.
Okay. But you couldn't restructure some of that money moving it.
We're not talking about restructuring. We're talking about I've got a guy that I gave a hold on. I've got 1 second. Hold on 1 second. But you got a guy that they invested a 5-year contract to in Michael Gallup that they invested that money to versus a guy that we gave a 2-year fucking deal to. I'll replace that guy because clearly they're not very invested in him. They only gave him a 2-year deal. And if he's had the same amount of numbers. So, right? So they gave a 2-year deal, not even close to the same amount of money that Michael Gallup did. If anything, Darius Slayton probably got underpaid because you could have made an argument he could have gotten Michael Gallup money, right? I would rather replace Darius Slayton than Michael Gallup.
He connected the dots. Darius Slayton got underpaid. He's better percentage-wise than Gallup and has had better statistics.
He's not better than DeAndre Hopkins.
He's not better than DeAndre Hopkins, but you just said because they
neither is Michael Gallup either. But Michael Gallup has a big-time contract there.
Cowboys wouldn't know. He's got a big-time contract for 1 year.
3 years.
No. What is the money in his contract after 2023?
15 million is his yearly average cap hit.
All right, 2024 guaranteed salary 0. 2025 guaranteed salary 0. 2026 guaranteed salary 0.
But he's got a cap hit of 15 million each of those years.
No, he doesn't. He has a cap hit. He has a cap hit at 2024 cap hit. Is 13.5. That is post June.
Who are you looking at?
2025. He's got a $15 million cap number, dead cap number 8.7. 2026 dead cap number 4.3. Don't look at the cap hit. You look at the dead cap number. You don't look at the cap hit. You look at his dead.
Why would I look at the dead cap number?
Because if you get rid of him or if you move on from him because you sign a person like D-Hop, you know you can move on from him in 20.
Okay, so then if that's the case, Darius Slayton is 1.7 next year. So you just made my point.
Still don't have the money. It's you. To your point, you are saving more money by getting rid of Gallup than you are
Again, you go ahead. You got $60 million in money next year. You get backloaded. What are you using the $60 million of next year's money for? Are you putting it into a bank and investing it?
You are going to potentially need guards. You are going to potentially.
What guards? Who?
That's it. Who? You don't know what your guard situation right now is in here in 2024. So you're talking about 2023. You don't know what your guard situation is. You don't know what your free safety.
Okay, so how much is a
You
guard
don't
going to
know
cost you on average?
You don't know what your CB1 situation is going to be. A good starting guard, you're looking at 8 to 14 million, depending on who you're going to. If you're going to get a quality starting guard.
Okay, so 8 to 14 million. So 60 million minus 14, that's 40. That's
Okay,
$46 million.
You
Next,
also have the Andrew Thomas contract. You also have the Dexter Lawrence
which
contract.
that's not going to hit. That's not going to hit the next year because he's in his 5th-year contract.
You're talking about money
But
pushing.
that's $60 million on his 5th-year option.
I don't argue with people's salary cap. You should know that by now.
Is the $60 million not counting for him on his 5th-year option?
Let's go, Big Blue. Smash the like button. We also have Manny 7, Chef Z cooking. Cool, Bob. Cool. We got Davey saying, I'm sorry, I don't want the Cards. Headache. Give Hopkins to the Jets. We got Mr. Alvarez saying, don't they have the same thing with the Giants? Where did I sell T-Brad up here for a second? Oh, here's T-Brad. T-Brad says, I would take Hopkins just so he could teach Robinson and Hyatt, help their learning curve. I'm not going to bring in a guy for $40 million to help him with his learning curve. But you always know I love you, T-Brad. Diop is not needed. Saquon is from Tim. Also, let's see. Windplugger. We've already backloaded money. That's dumb. Daniel Jones' contract will stop being backloaded money right now as we go all in. Let's see. Blaine said Diop would put this team over the top, nor make us Diop would not put this team on top, nor make us a contender. Okay. I don't think he has been. I do think he's got issues, but I do not think he has been. Is special teams concerning? No, I don't think special teams are concerning. It really depends on let's get into training camp before we worry about special teams. By the way, Brayden Cook did well on my fantasy football team. That's all that matters. You got to have the fantasy football teams. This guy is punking a punking Mike Francesca. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Or is he talking about Rob? I've already been told that I'm Mike Francesca-esque. And it's actually nice. I actually got an email from Mike Francesca. It was actually really nice. This was after he retired the first time. Someone sent him a link to one of the channels, to one of the shows, and he said, this is a young Mike Francesa, and he sent it. And it was funny because I always have the email on my channel, and Mike Francesa sent me back the email, and he says, well, I hear you're the new young me. And I said, well, I think we're about the same age. So I said, I appreciate that. And I thanked him. And it was nothing great, but I thought it was nice that he reached out. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Mr. Alvarez says, if it wasn't for those 2 Super Bowls, the Giants would be looking just like the Cowboys, having delusional fans. That's all. Mr. Blazin says that's true. We also have, I hope Shane throws high draft capital at both guard positions. I hope they find someone.
Oh my God.
Hope they find someone. Davey says, let me ask, who is better? Is Eli better than Tom Brady? And who beat who in Super Bowl twice? Eli's not better than Tom Brady, not at all. But sometimes you also play people in certain games, and sometimes people in certain regards are better in certain situations, and Eli just got the better. And also we have to give a lot of credit to the New York Giants defense and the defensive line for what they did to Tom Brady. Let's see. High being a second or third round. Oh, high being second round, third round pick for a guard. I would take a guard. I would take a guard right now. Let's see. Mr. Roberts says the Giants need to stop moving players out of position on the O-line. They struggle for a reason. Here's my only thing about the O-line, Rob. Joe Judge did the same thing. Joe Judge took a lot of guys and moved them out of position to positions they weren't familiar with. So, so they could hopefully find players and fix holes. And I've said this a million times before. I worry about the offensive line outside of Andrew Thomas, because of the fact that you have some guys that potentially could be playing that position. You have I think Evan Neal's still going to be fine. I don't have a problem with Evan Neal, but I also think there's a problem that you are potentially going to be relying on guys that may not have NFL caliber starting ability. And we did that 3 years ago with people like Shane Lemieux and Matt from Connecticut and a whole bunch of other people. And it worked out badly. And if people want to point to the fact that Daniel Jones didn't have time to throw, Daniel Jones didn't have weapons, Daniel Jones having this, but if he didn't have time to throw, you could potentially be in the same situation if a lot of these players don't pan out on this offensive line.
I don't know. I think like the only thing that I would even like going back to like where Judge was at, I think we had a center that played center like Billy Price. He was just bad. John Jalapeno, he played center. He didn't play another position. He was just bad. The guard positions, I mean, you had Ben Bredesen, who was a guard. He just didn't show anything. And then you had Hernandez, who played guard, just didn't improve. Last year, I think the only thing that Daves did was, they brought in John Feliciano, who was a guard, who played a year at center. But they drafted.
He had 200 total snaps at center his entire career.
Yeah, so he wasn't like it's not like he played a lot of center at all. He's more of a guard. But they drafted Joshua Zudu, who was showing a little bit of improvement, but then he hurt his neck and he got injured. So his season last year was cut short. Mark Lewinsky, who wasn't bad in Indy, but he didn't play good, with us, last year.
I think he's a systems guy. I've said
yeah, probably.
When they signed him, immediately what I said to him, because he did not have a stellar career until he landed in Indianapolis, and the line system that they play in Indianapolis fit him. And I said it right from the back. What concerned me is the fact that is he a Nate Solder? Is he a system guy that is not going to be playing in the same system in New York? And it looks like he was.
Well, that, and the other thing too is like he was playing next to Ryan Kelly, who is one of the better centers in the league, and then Brandon Smith, who's one of the better right tackles in the league, right? So then you put him in a system here where you're playing next to a guy in John Feliciano that's had, like you just said, 200 something snaps at center his entire career, and he's been in the league 5-6 years already, 7 years already, 8 years, whatever it is, and then you had a rookie right tackle. So I would hope that if he wins the starting job, that he performs a little bit better with maybe a little bit more of a stable center in JMS, who's been playing a center his entire career. And then maybe Evan Neal takes a little bit of a jump and, performs better in his sophomore year. But I also would not hold it, against Daves and them if they were to bench him like they did it last year with Galladay, where they took him off despite what he was getting paid. If he's not performing, they'll bench him.
Question is this, and this is the big question. Everyone with JMS, and I'm lucky because I'm going to go meet JMS in early June because I've been invited to the Giants rookie dinner.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So I'll be taking some photos from there and sending those. So I'm going to talk to JMS. And everyone has these high expectations for this kid coming in here. Are these expectations realistic? Because you are putting a lot of pressure on a first rookie center that's got an issue with the right tackle. You could technically say he's got an issue with both guard positions, and he is supposed to come in here and just solidify the line and just be an all-world center.
I don't have like these high crazy expectations like some of these fans do, like for JMS. I think like right now with JMS playing center, I think we have a better center than with John Feliciano by hands down because he's played the position. I think what he's going to help and improve the offensive line is, he knows the blocking schemes, right? He made all the calls in Minnesota. I think he's going to do a good job of getting his guy set, right? As long as he's prepared, which from what Andrew Thomas is saying, from what he said in interviews, he prides himself in making sure that he's prepared. So we'll see. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to come out and dominate from the jump, but I expect him to struggle a little bit. But if he's a good player like Mel Kiper and all of these other guys that do this every day and been doing it for 30 years, and they said that we got an all-pro center, caliber center, then if it clicks for him.
I think bringing up Mel Kiper was not the way to go.
Well, whatever.
I mean,
well, he's not the only one. He's not the only one who.
Well, everyone's. But I'm saying this: you're bringing in a rookie center.
Mm-hmm.
You are bringing in a guy that you have issues. You were just talking about how Lewinsky had, what he had in Indianapolis, which helped him probably improve. But outside of Andrew Thomas, you're going to be relying on a rookie center who potentially. I'm not saying he's not going to excel. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying and I'm not saying you, but a lot of people are putting pressure on this kid.
Agreed.
It might be unrealistic because, as you know, college and the pros are two different games. It could be a steep learning. I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying he's not going to be an all-pro. I'm not saying he's not going to be all-world. I'm saying this. Everyone had these expectations from Andrew Thomas. Didn't pan out year one. Everyone had these expectations with Evan Neal. Did not pan out in year one. Everyone had these expectations for Glowinski. Signed the contract. Was the big acquisition. Didn't pan out. It happens. And I think some fans need to take a breath, because the moment that he has a bad game, and that's Jingleheimer Schmidt, and he has a bad game, and let's say he gets benched, because he's a rookie, he could get benched. This is the pros. Everyone's gonna freak out like they did on Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal. And like I said, maybe if we all just kind of took a little feng shui and a little deep breath and said, "Hey, listen, just let the kid play, see what happens," before you anoint him the greatest, since the greatest since Bald Oates.
Yeah, and I'm saying this, and I agree with you. And I'm saying the same thing about guys like Jalen Hyatt and stuff like that. Like, people are already saying Jalen is going to be what OBJ aspired to be, like, already putting on. And that's why a big reason why I'm saying, look, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but that's another reason why I think I think it would be smart to bring in a guy like a DeAndre Hopkins, because you don't know what Hyatt is going to be. He could struggle this season and then turn it up next year. He could come out week one and light the league on fire. Like, I'm not saying that he won't do that, but right now the talent gap between Waller and then after Waller there's a very big gap there. I'm not including Saquon Barkley in that. I'm talking about just the skill position. If Waller were to go down,
the skill position.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not a running back is not out there catching passes, lining up in the slot, lining up. They don't use Barkley that way.
Well, they don't use him, but how many passes did he have his rookie year when he did that?
It's not, but his rookie year is a long time ago.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I agree. No, listen, I agree with you.
You still have to count Barkley in the skilled position set.
I'm not, when it comes down to wide receivers and tight ends. Those, to me, like, me personally, the way I look at it is I put that in a separate bracket as running backs. And when you look at the skill position there, after Waller, there's a huge gap. Slayton right now is going into the season, he's wide receiver 1, right? Like, at that point, there's a big gap in talent between Waller and Slayton. So you need to go ahead and get another guy, whether it's Hopkins goes to the Bengals and you trade a 1 for T. Higgins or something like that, which is, like, people want to do that, but yet you're going to pay T. Higgins and you don't, like, where's that money coming from? Like, so either way, they need to bring in somebody else here to help at the wide receiver position, a big name that you can go in and that can help out some of these young guys in case they're struggling. Because at the end of the day, we all want to win, but there's a huge gap there. And I'm not going to sit here and say Jalen Hyatt's going to have these he's a rookie, he's a rookie. JMS is a rookie. These guys are rookies. Even Tay Banks. I love Tay Banks. I love the pick. But he's going to struggle too. If he struggles, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not Charlie Vacchiano, where he's a bust or this or that, which is what Charlie's going to say. Love you, Charlie. But, that's what Charlie Vacchiano's going to say. But these guys are rookies,
And the reason why people want to trade for T. Higgins, how can you fit T. Higgins in? He's only making 2.9 this year.
Yeah, but if Tom Pelissero was right with what he said on the Rich Eisen show, where you could offer Hopkins a $16 million deal this year, do it as a signing bonus, and then you do a void year. Hopkins' cap hit this year would be $4 million. I'd take the extra $2 million and give it to Hopkins versus T. Higgins.
Oh, I would take T. Higgins any day of the week over Hopkins. How old is T. Higgins? I forget.
25 or 26.
He's 24. He's 24 this year.
I wouldn't take T. Higgins over Hopkins.
He's 24 years old. He's on a rookie deal right now. He's on a rookie deal, right?
This is his last year. You have to pay him.
He is on a rookie deal right now.
But he's going to demand. He's got similar stats.
You have $60 million in 2024. So wouldn't you rather spend that extra money, all that money in 2024 on a guy who's coming off 2,000-yard seasons, has played in 30 games in the last 2 seasons, and is 24 years old?
No. Look at who he's been playing with the last 2 years.
To my next point. Don't
look at who he's been playing with the last 2 years. It's a lot easier when you got Jamar Chase out there.
Oh yeah, but in his big years in Arizona, who was the quarterback?
Who?
In Arizona, and D-Hop's big years, who was the quarterback?
He had Kyler Murray, and then he was playing with
Chase
Chase McSorley last year.
His one big season, who was the one big season was one with the 100-yard catch season in Arizona was who was
no, but I'm not talking. No, when I was talking about T. Higgins,
I'm just asking a question.
I wasn't talking about the quarterback.
I know, but you said who he was playing with. But who was his quarterback that 1 year he had 100 catch?
Kyler Murray.
He was Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray, outside of injuries, is a pretty good quarterback, just like Joe Burrows is a good quarterback.
Yeah, but
if you don't take a 24-year-old over a 31-year-old who's already had 2 down seasons because of injuries and other issues, and you could have traded a first round. If they said, I will take a first-round pick for T. Higgins, and I have him under control this year on a rookie deal, and I can have him sign for the next 4 years. And by the time I give him a 4-year contract, he's only going to be 28, 29 years old.
Again, like I said, Hopkins put up the number. He was top 5 wide receiver last year when he got back here, and Chase McSorley was throwing him the football.
I've said it a million times before. You know what? Yeah, someone's got to make the catches even on a bad team. And that's who they're going to throw to because that's who they have.
But come on, dude. Like,
that's who they
when
have.
we're talking about, all right, so look, Higgins, because he was taken the second round, this is his 4th year. He's going into his 4th season. So no 5th-year option.
Right. That's why I said, but he's on a $2.9 million.
Hold on. His first year, 67 catches, 908 yards, 6 touchdowns. That was his first year. That was in 2020. Jamar Chase got there in 2021, and that's when his numbers started to skyrocket.
No, he actually had 7 more receptions. He went from 67 to 74.
7 more catches.
He went from 67 receptions to 74 receptions.
That makes it look even worse.
No, it actually makes it look better because of the fact that you brought in someone like Jamar Chase, and his numbers didn't go down. His numbers actually went up a little bit, and the fact that you are taking away a lot of his targets because of the guy on the other side.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
D-Hop was the only guy in Arizona.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. When we had Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz in 2011, right? You would probably say that Hakeem Nicks was the number 1 wide receiver on the roster at that point.
At that point, that point or during the entire season? At what point of the season?
Like, I'm just saying, like, when you went into like that year, you could Hakeem was the number 1 guy. Victor Cruz was the big playmaker, and he had the big season. I think he had a bigger year than Hakeem Nicks. But you could argue that Hakeem Nicks was like our number 1 wide receiver. Like, we had 2 good wide receivers. Hakeem was the number 1 wide receiver. Do you think
in 2011, I actually would have said Victor Cruz was, because Victor Cruz actually had 1,536 yards, 18.79 touchdowns to Hakeem, who had
how many yards?
He had 1,536.
How many yards did Hakeem Nicks have?
11,192.
11,000 in
1,192. Excuse me.
Okay, so would you say that Victor Cruz and his big play allowed Hakeem Nicks to have a good season because everybody was fixating on Victor Cruz?
But you could say the same thing about Josh Burrows. And if you take a look at the stats in reference to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you're actually making your own argument.
So no, but my point is this. Higgins' best year yard-wise was 1,091, which is in 2021. And Jamar Chase, I think, lit the world on fire that year. That was his rookie year. I think he had like 1,300 or 1,400 yards as a rookie, right?
Right.
But prior to that, Higgins' first year, he had 908 yards. So he had less than 200 yards more. And you had Jamar Chase that got 1,400 or 1,500 yards as a rookie, and you only put up 183 yards more as a wide receiver. And he had 110 targets. That doesn't make any sense. But look at a guy like Devontae Smith last year, which was not last year, but 2 years ago.
Wait. Stop for a second here. I'm going to blow your mind here. You ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
You ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
Because we like to talk about quarterbacks. In 2020, his rookie year, the team went to what's his name? T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Okay. The team had 4 wins. right?
Yeah, Joe got hurt.
Yeah, they started a rookie quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt and missed. He only played in 10 games. And you had the likes of Ryan Finley and Brandon
Who played
Allen.
in 10 games? Joe?
Burrows only played in 10 games in 2020.
And T. Higgins played in 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Started in 14 games.
Exactly, though. But he only threw the ball 400 times.
Who?
Joe Burrows.
Yeah, I know that.
But to your point, though, if you're looking at the quarterback situation, he did not have the opportunity to play a full season with Joe Burrows. So maybe he did play four.
What did he miss? 4 games? 4 games?
4 games. 100. Even if you go 70 yards a game for 4 games, how many yards is that?
But T. Higgins was
how many yards is that? 4 times 70. How many yards is that? Let's just make it easy. Let's say it's only 50. Let's say he only had 50. So that's 200 extra yards. So now he's over 1,100 yards.
But that doesn't make any sense.
No, because he didn't play with Joe Burrows those 4 games.
But that doesn't matter. Jamar Chase wasn't there. Who was the other guy that was there? Tyler Boyd?
But that's my point. There was no one in Indianapolis.
But he had 108 targets that year.
There was no.
Okay. So time out. So time out.
No,
I'll blow your mind.
About this anymore.
I'll blow your mind again.
Oh, I got to get to these stats. I got people in wait. I got to get to these. Rich said, besides Thomas at times, Bredesen was our best lineman. We're already 15 minutes behind on the chats. Mr. Albert said, someone said Glowinski was the weakest link on the Indianapolis O-line. I couldn't agree more. Chaz says he is OTA. I figured he's got something else coming over here. Mr. Alvarez says, I never saw Neal at right tackle. He said he prefers to play the left side of the line in combined interviews. So I thought he would rather put him at left guard and draft Abram Lucas, be a true right tackle later in the draft. I think it's harder to switch from right tackle to left tackle than vice versa. So, I mean, I think
I think it was, he mentioned left guard. He was saying,
no, but I'm just saying that he played more. He preferred to play on the left. He's saying that he preferred to play on the left side, but I think it's more difficult to go from the right side to the left side than it would be from going to the left side to the right side because your assignments are totally different. Chaz also brought up a good point. We did forget about Nick Gates at center during the Joe Judge era. Nick Gates.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about him.
Nick Gates was an okay.
Well, no, Gates didn't. The year that he was starting, that's when he broke his leg.
No, he started the 1 year. He played. I think he played in 16 games.
In 2021, he broke his leg, didn't he?
He did break his leg, but he did start 16 games in center. He didn't, or was that at the end of the season he broke his leg? I can never remember when he.
No, it was week 3 when he broke his leg.
2020, he played 16 games at center. It was 2021 that he got hurt.
Yeah, because he got hurt in week 3.
Yeah,
that's when he broke his leg.
Yeah, but he did play he was playing out of position, and he actually got hurt at guard.
But then that year he was playing at guard when he got hurt. He wasn't playing center.
He was talking about how we were playing players out of position, and Nick Gates was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, so that's what he's talking about. Good run blocker or a pass pro to learn a lot of team. Let's see if he starts. He has to succeed or don't start him. That's going to be about JMS. Let's see here. We got Christopher saying there, as far as I'm concerned, the salary cap situation, they will pay. They will make a way to get who they want, no matter what they do under and over the cap. Yeah, the problem with that is you end up with people like Kenny G and a whole bunch of other players that we went and got that the cap didn't matter, and then we didn't have any money for 3 years. Miller time, you sleep on him. Who am I sleeping on?
Oh, that's fucking Charlie Vacchiano right there. That's Charlie. That's Charlie Vacchiano.
Okay. All right, Charlie. Dom is back in the chat. Is volunteered, so washed up so I could return. Dom says 280 yards. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. Dom was doing the math because Dom always knows he is the mathematician. Dom also says, let's see, he was putting up those numbers with Burrows so you can fairly make a statistical exploration. Yeah, I agree. See, I was right. Because Dom knows about everything.
I want to say what I want to say right now.
No, you're not going to say anything because that's why I'm in control. That's why.
The next year when he played with Burrow the whole year, he only had 2 more targets.
Yeah, but you know what? How many more yards did he have?
183 yards more.
Right, and if you extrapolate that over 4 games.
But I only had 2 more targets the following year.
Yes, because he improved from year 1 to year 2. Players do that. That's allowed.
I'm sorry, but if you get Jamar Chase popping off with you, he should have more than 1,091.
No, because there's only so many times, there's only so many receptions that you can get, and there's just so many opportunities you get. And if Jamar scores on a 70-yard touchdown, how are you going to stay on the field to get your stats?
So can I ask you a question? Who do
Sure.
you think is a better wide receiver, T. Higgins or Devontae Smith?
That is well, the only problem I have, right? That's a good question. That's a good question. Because Devontae Smith, like I said, he had his rookie season where he had his ups and downs, and so did Kyler Murray when not Kyler Murray, with Jalen Hurts, when Jalen really didn't start. Jalen had a bouncy season in 2021, and I think Devontae had like 900 yards, but still had 5 touchdowns. I think he had over 14. I think it was over 14 yards receiving. And then
So who do you think is more of a passing offense?
I think they're
Bengals or Eagles?
I think the Bengals are more of a passing offense.
So year one, which was the year after
Year one of
T. Higgins, year one for Devontae, which was in 2021, the year after Higgins. So we'll compare first years to first years.
Okay.
104 targets for Smith, 64 receptions, so 3 less receptions, 916 yards. So I think he had more yardage. He had more yardage, and he played he played a full season.
Right.
The following year, which was last year, which I think we'd all agree they had a very good running defense, or a rushing attack. Was like, you could say they were more of a rushing attack than anything. 136 targets, 95 receptions, 1,200 yards, 7 receptions. And A.J. Brown had over 140 targets, 100 receptions, and 1,400 yards.
Okay.
My point is this. The fact that T. Higgins could not put up those kind of numbers, or isn't getting those type of targets and receptions and putting up those numbers in a passing offense like Cincinnati, to me, raises questions of him as a player. I would take Devonta Smith right now over T. Higgins.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Yes, but you are comparing oranges to hand grenades.
How?
Because of the fact that Philadelphia is a totally different team than Cincinnati plays, but
Higgins is in a passing offense.
But here's the thing: to me, last year you had A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I would consider them at points in time last year 1A and 1B. Jamar Chase is always going to be the focal point.
So you're viewing Smith as a number 1 wide receiver.
I am assuming Smith as a
Are you viewing Higgins as a number 1 wide receiver
right now on the Giants? 100%. Yes. Yes. 100%. 1,000%.
He's not. So he's not a number 1. He's not. They're not 1A, 1B on Cincinnati.
I would say he's just a step below Jamar Chase, but you're never going to know fully what he is until.
Would you say that Smith is a step below A.J. Brown?
No. I would say they're 1A, 1B because they do different things.
I'm telling you, bro.
They do different things. I'm sorry. I don't watch Philadelphia in person. I'm sorry. What do I know? I only seen every single Philadelphia game because it's the only fucking games half the time they're on this television. Unless I get or I'm at the game. Yeah, I know. I get Pittsburgh and I get Philadelphia. That's why I have the dish. Mr. Alvarez says, I can't wait until Leonard's gone next year so the Giants have some cap space. They'll have cap space next year. Dahmer says, my issue with stats is they only tell half the story. There we go. What's the scheme? How many targets are they getting them because of their run, taking away more players, etc.? I agree, Dom. I agree. Don't forget to hit the like button. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here because Rob's got to go do something. I got a lot of shit I got to get done over the next.
You got a shit?
No, we're having a barbecue.
Ooh.
And it went from.
All right. I'm going to call my boss. I'm not coming in. I'm going.
It went from 7 people to we're about at 19. So it spirals. Dom will tell you my life spirals. It just, and we were counting it last night because of people that we just kind of invited. We didn't think they were going to come. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to come. And so I was counting. I'm like, I told my wife, I said, I'm at 19 and I think we have food for like 9 people. So I have to go out into the freezer and go slaughter a cow because that's the next thing that we do. But as always, it is one of those days. It is one of those times. It was fun as always. I'm going to give Rob the final thought because I'm just that nice of a guy.
Thank you, buddy.
Am I the meanest? Am I the
Listen, my final thought is, Joe Shane, you've made the investment in Daniel Jones. You clearly believe you have your quarterback. You've made moves to prove that you believe in this roster. Don't half-ass this. Don't do this. Go all in and do it the right way. You've got a top-tier wide receiver that's available. Go ahead, bring him in, get him in, go win some games, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, do it the right way. And go out. If you're going to go out with some dignity. But if you half-ass this and it doesn't work, you're just going to look like a schmuck. God
Gentlemen,
bless you
brings
guys
me to
and
my
have a
next
wonderful
point.
day.
Don't smoke crack.
LT is always very prevalent in what he says with the PSA. This is Tim. This is Rob. This is your Giant Straight Talk. Oh, it's the Sunday Giant. Today was a fun show as always. Hope everyone had a great time. Christopher and everyone is out of his house. You know what, guys? We will see you next week. And as always, we are out of here.